This is my 1992 Vauxhall Nova GSI, or Opel Corsa GTE if you're anywhere else in the world. It's about time I introduced you to it. Let's take a look. Why do cars like this get under our skin? We might see them somewhere, we might be in them at some point as a child, you might remember the back seat of one, music on, going to school, I don't know. But when they do, they're in there, can't get them out, you've got to have one, you know. That's kind of in a nutshell the reason why I have this car. I've got two sort of defining moments from when I was a kid, and I mean sort of 14 years old maybe. Me, my mate Will Smiley, his brother Steve, we were at our friend Andy White's house, and I think his mum had just had enough of us, and we couldn't get hold of anyone other than Will's dad, who came and got us. And I remember Will's dad wasn't happy with it about it at all, but he had a 1.4 blue 1.4 Nova SR, and the way he drove us back from there was just, it was life-changing for me. I grew up into cars, but that solidified it for me. Just absolutely ripping all the way home. It was it's incredibly dangerous thinking about it now, but it was brilliant. That's what grew it in me. That's what, you know, grew these cars in me. And then Mikey Easthope, a lad, he was a street pharmacist, and I would blast around with him in a Mark II Astra GTE. That's where my 16 valve Astra GTE sort of came from, the reason why I had one of those. And just the smells and sounds and experiences of them, I think that's what hooks us in. You know, if you're into cars, like I say, you'll absolutely know, and you'll probably understand, although you might have to think about it, tracing it all the way back to the beginning. So they're like little stories and thoughts and feelings from my childhood, that when I drive this isn't a driver's car. It's not fast, it doesn't handle very well, you know, it's none of that for me. It's the pure emotive response, the music that I listen to in here, the way that I listen to it, the way it makes me feel, the way it smells, the way it squeaks, the way it starts up, you know, just all of those things just immediately teleport you to a certain point. Plus, I'm from up north, and that's, you know, I know I live in the south now. I have lived here for longer than I lived up north, so I'm technically a southerner now, if you will adopt me, southern England. But up north, especially being near Ellesmere Port, which is where the main Vauxhall sort of factory was. My dad worked there when I was a kid, which has got nothing to do with why really I'm into Novas, but Vauxhalls were more, they were more popular up there. I can't explain why, but Fords were a sort of South Coast thing, maybe an Essex thing or whatever. But yeah, performance Vauxhalls were just, I don't know, they were just more popular up there. It's not a max power era thing for me. It never has been. I was never really into any of that. You know, I was of a certain age where that should have had a massive impression upon me, but it really didn't. I've always been a performance Vauxhall, fast Ford, performance VW. I've always been about that sort of car modification and that side of culture. I don't have a problem with the sort of max power and fast car cultures. It has done huge things for car culture in the UK, but it was just never a part of what I had, hence my stuff always looks a little bit more sort of subdued in comparison. You know, it's always a little bit more OEM plus, so it was never about that sort of that crazy modification for me. But yeah, that in a nutshell is why I'm into them. You know, if you know me, you'll know that I'm Volkswagen through and through. I have been forever, but real early, the early stuff that people just don't know, is it was Vauxhall and fast forwards. Hence why it's all come full circle now, and I now have, you know, Ford and Vauxhall. You can't write it. It is what it is. We just go on these journeys, don't we? I've had this a while now. It's got quite a story to this car. I was sat at work the way that I do. I must have been, I don't know, doing some emails or whatever, and Jamie was using my iPad. When he'd opened it up, my eBay was open because I'd been scouring eBay for Nova SRs. Who doesn't, you know? We all do it. We all look for the things that we like, and a clean SR is something that really gets me going. So anyway, coincidentally, he'd noticed that morning that this car had come up for sale. Now, I'd been looking the night before because I was ready to buy, you know, I was looking for a project. And he showed me this. I contacted the guy within a minute of Jamie showing it me, and you know, he told me he had a long list of people waiting. I said, listen, I'll come now. You know, you've heard me say this before, but time and money talk in scenarios like that. When it's something as special as this, you have to just go and do it. Don't put any obstacles in anyone's way. Just get it done. And that's what I did. That's my way of doing things. That night we were there, and the guy's phone did not stop the entire time we were there. It was insane the amount of contact he was getting regarding this car. Now, I think he was a part of somebody had the previous owner had sold it to a competition company. Someone won the competition, they won the car, but they lived on an island where there was no roads. Now, I genuinely don't think he's winging that for me. He was a young lad who lived on one of the Scottish sort of far out islands, and he just went for the cash alternative. It was probably his whole reason for doing it in the first place, you know. And so yeah, they gave him the cash alternative, and I think the gent we bought it from, or I bought it from, was selling it on behalf of those guys, you know. And I didn't know anything about its history when I bought it. I just bought it because it is easily the cleanest one I've ever seen. Every single thing is there, every part works. It just shocks you through and through when you look at it, you know. And bearing in mind some of the stuff I've done to it, I've had the carpets up and things like that, and it's just alarming how original and what a sort of cherished life it's had. So that's why I bought the car. I didn't buy it based on its history at all. Now, since having the car and speaking to the previous owner, who knows a lot more about the car's history than I did at the time, he informed me that this car was bought new by Nicky Grist, former navigator, pro driver for with Colin McRae. During the sort of golden era, he bought this car new. I don't know where from or anything like that. I'm not too throbby about all of the details, but that's how special is that? I didn't know that when I bought it. It's just an added bonus, and now possibly the most important thing about the car. You know, it's so good. Such a great car, honestly. Yeah, so it's 34 years old, or just coming up, or thereabouts, you know, and it just looks brand new. You know, I'll try and point you around various bits of it. I mean, the driver's seat bolster. I've had new cars that have had worse condition driver's seat bolsters. You know, it's a Timewarp thing, and yes, it does smell just the way you expect it to smell. It smells like 1992 in there. It's arguably the best thing about the car. Side note, I once had a lad and a girl come through work, and this was sat in the workshop, and we got onto the topic of the way things remind us and stuff like that. And I said to him, open the door and smell the car. Just smell it. And he opened the door and he smelled the car, and of course I was expecting that reaction, that, oh my god, it smells exactly the same. And then his missus smelled it in the car, and she audibly, out loud, she went, ugh. just walked off. She don't get it. But yeah. Anyway, what are we here for today? I've been talking for long enough. I hope that sort of talking, I've had YouTube comments before that say you just speak too much. All right, what do you want me to do? Do you know what I mean? But I like to build that story. It's the only way I've got of articulating what these mechanical things mean to me and why I do them, why I enjoy them the way that I do. Because some parts of it are completely different. For instance, the XR2 is owned in an entirely different way. The story is entirely different. There is a story, but it is just from completely different angles. You know, a car is great fun. It's an explosive little drive. I love all of the little issues with it. Whereas this one, you know, I know it's a Nova GSI, but it's in a very clean cut suit. You know, it's yeah. Anyway, I'm going to do some work on this car today. It's Saturday afternoon now, 20 to 3. Don't know if I'm going to get it done. But yeah, follow me around, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain why I'm doing the bits that I'm doing to this today. Let's go. I told you everything's clean, didn't I? So yeah, that's it. I know what you're thinking. Doesn't look as good as it did. And I know a few people out there who would agree with you. I see you. But I disagree. I really like it on the original wheels. And it also broadens its market, because I'm going to sell this car. It's time for me to finish owning this one. As I said to you earlier, it's owned for a different reason. You know, it was nostalgic. I really enjoyed it, but I don't use it. I don't drive it. It sits about, and I'm not that type of car owner usually. I've been extremely precious with this car, and I'm not often that precious with them. I usually like little fast racy cars, and I drive them, you know. So yeah, it's time to let this one go to someone else. I don't know who. I've not actively put it up for sale yet. When I do, I'll put a link in the description, I suppose. But yeah, wicked car. I'll be gutted to see it go. I don't need it to sell, so if it doesn't go, it will stay in here. It'll go out, it'll get cleaned, it'll go back in, and it'll go maybe to a Regal Open Day once a year. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I think it's time for this one to go. And maybe the other ones, and something to take their place as one individual thing that I can sink my teeth into. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, I'm Carl. You take it easy. Thanks for watching.